Well, hello there. I'm Auntie Sarah from CoffeeCraft, and today I'm bringing you a Learning with Sarah video. I believe that trying new things and problem solving while we play is one of the many gifts that we have in this life. When we try new things or when we just play with our craft, we really get a chance to learn new things, be inspired by trying something new, and we usually learn something that we wouldn't have learned otherwise. Since this is a project that I'm trying for the first time, I just want to make it clear that there will not be a written tutorial for this because I don't have very many tips to give you yet, and the only way I'm going to get those tips is by trying something new. So I wanted to take this chance to really show you my learning process and tell you what I've learned along the way. If you are really excited by this project and you would like a written form of a tutorial with all of my tips compiled into the document, let me know. And I will try this a few times and see what I learn and see if it's worth putting together something for you. To explain what I'm trying for the first time today, I first wanted to talk about my initial inspiration. As you might be able to tell, I love Halloween. I love spooky things. I love decorating for Halloween. It's really my favorite holiday, and it's the only one that I really decorate for. And every year I gather, a couple things to add to my decorations throughout the house. And some friends kindly give me some things to decorate too. But one thing that I've not made, bought, or had someone else make for me yet that I see all the time and I really want is a door wreath. I frequent some craft supply stores that you may also frequent, and one thing that they always have are these aisles of beautiful wreaths that are many different themes. They're not always Halloween. It depends on the season, right? But I've not really convinced myself that I should spend the money they're asking for, especially when they have all of the supplies to make the wreath sold in that store. A couple weeks ago, I decided to chance it and go in one of those stores, and I bought all the things I thought I would need to try to do this for the first time. It wasn't really planned because to me, playing is no plan, right? You just buy what's inspiring to you and you hope that you have everything you need, and that means that you might have to problem solve on the go. So whenever you do something like this, you gotta be open-minded, you gotta be positive, right? Because we're just gonna problem solve when we come across a problem or a roadblock, right? If this kind of project sounds really interesting to you, or if you want to learn what I've learned today, feel free to stick around, grab yourself a cup of hot motivation, roll up your sleeves, and let's get started. The things I purchased from the craft supply store include an 18-inch wreath base, a door hanger for my wreath. I just chose the gold that I think will work for many seasons, for many different types of wreaths. And then I found some kind of spooky looking flowers. I also got 3 different vine-based flowers to wrap around the wreath as a filler. I got some black wire. Hopefully that won't be so obvious that I've tied things to the wreath base. And as a centerpiece, I found this really cute little broom. Hopefully it'll look like one fancy witch lives here. All right, so then I grabbed my first vine and I just kind of positioned it around the wreath. At this point, I wasn't sure that one wreath would even go all the way around, so this was a interesting learning. I thought I easily had plenty of vine to cover up this wreath. As I put one down, I started to get a little nervous that maybe it didn't have enough filler. But there really is only one way to find out, so I decided it was time to just put your head down and persevere. To begin, I just cut up a few lengths of wire. These are probably only an inch or 2 long. They don't need to be very long or anything, just long enough that you can push them through in kind of a U shape to the back of the wreath and twist together like you would close up a bag of bread. All right, so that's the first vine attached. Decided it was time to get a little bit of motivation in me. And now we need to put on the second one. I did this much the same as the first. I just positioned it around the wreath as well as I could, and this time I actually intertwined it with the first one that was generally positioned. That way I wouldn't really need to put extra twist ties in if I don't have to. And then it's time for the third. All right, once I got the third one in its place, I decided now is a good time to cut up a few more pieces of that wire and really secure all three vine layers to the base. And it honestly still looks a little bit bare, and I was pretty nervous at this point that I was going to go back to the store and get a bunch more vines to fill it in, or maybe even some ribbon. And that's what I think I would do differently next time. I would find a really, really good black, silver, red, any kind of vibrant or maybe even just background color ribbon that's maybe like 3 inches wide. That would be amazing to do as a base on this wire so that it looks like it's covered from the beginning. The next experiment I wanted to try was cutting up these roses and trying to position them to take up some space. Once I got the broom where I thought I wanted it, and then I positioned the roses, I started to get excited. Things didn't look quite as bare as they did before, so all that was left was figuring out how exactly to secure these pieces. The easiest part to secure was my broom. I really didn't have much trouble. It already had a loop, so I just used a twist tie and connected it. Next, it's the flowers. Now, I'm not going to lie when I say that I struggled to get these flowers to stay attached. At first, I thought I could bend the base of them a little bit and then twist tie it, but they slid out so easily. So I had to break out the big guns, and by that, I mean my glue gun. I went back and I repositioned where I think they belong, and then I flipped the whole wreath over and really I hot glued it right to the base of the wreath, and then I let that glue cool down. And that's pretty much the method I found that worked best for this for now. I'll have to, let this wreath live a little bit before I tell you if this is a good, secure option. But worst case, I'll just get my hot glue gun out and reattach some flowers that fall off. You can tell that I did have a couple flowers, fall off through this process, and that's okay. I just waited till near the end, and then I repositioned them and glued them in place too. All right, once I was done, I was thinking about the fact that I didn't really have a great way to secure this to my door hanger. and I searched through my ribbon stash and I found I had this beautiful black ribbon I've made a hair bow out of in the past, and I thought this would be a really pretty option for securing to the door. So I just, threaded that through some of the wire of the base hoop, and I tied it in a little knot at the top. All right, now you can see a little show off of what this looks like outside with some of my other decorations. And I am just in love with this. It's not quite as full as some of the other options that are available from other craft supply stores, but there is also not another wreath that looks like mine. I think that this is the perfect level of spooky and witchy, and at the same time, me, that I had a lot of fun making. And maybe next year when I, get a couple more decorations, I might invest in some more spooky themed ribbon and spruce it up a little bit, make it even more thick, or get a couple more vines of flowers to include too. The other learning I had was the wire was great for attaching the vines to the wreath. However, they were not very effective at attaching the cut flowers to the wreath. For now, I used hot glue. If I find out that doesn't work very well long term, I may have to come up with some new ideas. So if you already know how to attach these beautiful flowers to a wreath in a better way than hot glue, please leave a comment below and let me know what you already have learned. You've made it through my first Learning with Sarah, and I really want to thank you for being here. I think it's really important that everyone tries to play, tries new things, and learns along the way, and I hope that me showing you my process has inspired you to pick up something new too, and shows you that it's not really that hard. It didn't even take me that much time. I think in total, even with trying to last minute come up with a ribbon, took me 30 minutes to complete this craft. This did not take me very long. I was very surprised about that. So hopefully that takes away some of the worry that you may have when you start something new. Sometimes you are pleasantly surprised that it's not as difficult as you thought, and you've learned something along the way too. If you really enjoyed this content, or you're interested in seeing what's included in my written tutorials, please head over to coffeecrafters.org and take a look at some of my previous crafts, or take a look at the blog and let me know what you think. I also have an Instagram. If you are really inspired to make a wreath, even if it's not Halloween themed, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see what you were inspired to make and who inspired you to do it. I'd love to know that. Thank you again for joining me today. I look forward to crafting with you in the future. I can't wait to see what we make when we try to craft something new next time. Okay, bye.